Alright, so it's time for part 2 of this 1998 yard machines mower here. I had a video on this mower last summer. I was able to get it running again, but it's got a carburetor issue that unfortunately can't be fixed. We'll get into that after. But thanks to the fine folks at Hipa, we got a brand new carburetor over there, and I'm gonna push this thing over to the garage. We're gonna power wash it real quick and get going on it, and we're gonna make it running, and I'll show you the issue, what's going on with it and everything. But I'm gonna push it over there for now, and we'll see you shortly. Hi, and welcome back to Dirty Barry's Garage. So today we're gonna be playing around with this. As I showed in a previous clip, we got a 1998 yard machines. We got a Tecumseh engine on it. My apologies. I was supposed to do part 2 on a Troy-Bilt trimmer, Troy-Bilt pressure washer rather. Spoiler alert, that thing does need new carb. It's on order. We'll get to that later on. But in the meantime, we'll get going on this one. So anyway, 1998 yard machines. I already took the nose off just for cleaning purposes and everything. We got a 13 horse Tecumseh Enduro overhead valve engine. This mower does have the Vector, move that up a little bit. It's got the Vector carburetor. And I do have a quick question. I know a lot of you guys that watch these videos, you actually do small engine repair yourself and everything. Please leave me a comment. I want to know how many people here have dealt with these Vector carburetors. I was under the impression that it's kind of a rare carburetor. I mean, Tecumseh stopped making engines 2005. That is a kind of a weird carburetor and everything. But I don't know. Just, if you would, leave me a comment. Tell me your experience with Vector carburetors. We're going to get into it. I'm going to show you the innards of one later on in the video and everything. But for right now, what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and fire this thing real quick with the original carb on it. Unfortunately, it was running last year, barely, and now it won't run at all. Well, it won't pull fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and spray the thing down. Rats. Alright, well, this thing last year, it would run on choke only, and it would just sputter and pop and everything. I did let it sit over in her yard again over the winter, and I did have ethanol fuel in it. I believe that aided the problem. Now it will not run, just only on spray. So we're gonna have to tear into this carburetor. We're gonna replace this carburetor. Thankfully, Hipa has jumped in on this one. They sponsored this video. We're gonna put a brand new Hipa carburetor on this thing, and we're gonna hear it run again. So just give me a couple minutes. I have to move some stuff around the garage, push some stuff around, and then we're gonna get in here. We're gonna take this carb off. I'm gonna show you the issue with it, and then we're gonna put the new one on, and we're gonna hear it run perfect with any luck. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this carburetor off of this unit here real quick. And it was funny, I was out trash picking the other day, found me a new stand. The cord for the halo light, it looks like a dog or a cat chewed it or whatever, so they threw the whole stand out. So luckily that thing's adjustable, so I'm gonna set this camera up. I should be able to get closer to the carburetor, and we'll get taking it apart. So we'll be right back. All right, so let's give this a shot. So for starters, got your right here, this is for your choke. So you're gonna go ahead and just connect this, loosen up the screw right here. I'm gonna get that cable out of the way. We're gonna disconnect it in a minute from the carb itself, but yeah, there we go. Just get it out of the holder there. Then you got two 7/16 nuts holding the actual breather plate on. That's why I disconnected this cable, because part of the bracket is actually goes onto the piece there. Get that one. Another one on the back. This one's a kind of a pain, just because it's not too easy to get at. That's all right though. There we go. And your whole assembly is going to slide right out of there. And you're going to notice your choke cable just goes on like such. Goes a little Z-bend. That's out of the way. Oh, that's right. This one's got the little, I got to find the right socket for that. I forgot about that. This one's got the little Torx bit deal on it. Most of them have a little 5/16 setup you use, but not this one. We'll find it. That one. There, right there. I can't see the size right offhand over here, but I'll get it in a second for you. Anyway, that's just gonna, that'll end up just taking the whole stud out like so. If I had a flathead over here, a nice easy trick for this one, you turn around, you take the ratchet off, and you put a flathead in the square of the socket, and it'll come right out. This is going to take a couple minutes longer, but that's all right. Pull that like so, and then your throttle linkage just kind of pops out like that. It's really all there is to carburetor removal on one of these engines. Give me a second here. We're going to set this thing up on a bench. I'm going to take it apart and show you what's up with it. All right, so we got this carburetor off the thing here real quick. Let's go ahead. I'm going to try and take this apart real quick. I'm going to kind of give you a glimpse of what's wrong with it. It's going to be very hard to see, but this thing pops apart. It's like an old master cylinder of a car. You pop the little clip and your whole body comes right off of the carburetor. In all reality, I could have left the body of the carburetor on there and just switch the bodies out, but since Hipa was nice enough to send me this one, I wanted to go ahead and use the whole kit. So we're going to go ahead and pop this float out of here real quick. I'm trying to get it to the point where you can actually see it a little better. I don't think it's going to do any justice, but we'll try it. All right. So, where's that flashlight at? All right. So anyway, you got your emulsion tube on this one. It's going to slide out like so. It's got an O-ring on the very end right here. I did a previous video on this where I replaced these O-rings. So that's going to seal into the tube there. And yeah, right on this end here, you can see the little spring. You probably can't see it. There's a jet in there, and basically your fuel's going through that area, and it's going to come up through here, and then it's going to, you know, into this chamber, and then it goes through the emulsion tube up into the carburetor. What happened on this carburetor, at some point in its life, it had water in it and it froze. There is a crack down here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but what it's doing, it's not letting the fuel come up to the emulsion tube. Well, originally it was only letting very little fuel. It was just sucking air. Now it's at a point where it won't run at all anymore. So there's where your issue is with this carburetor. So, unfortunately, I did not write the part number of this carb down. I usually do. Well, I did write it down. I just can't find the paper. Anyway, so I went on Jack's Small Engine and looked up the part number for the carburetor, and at that point it said no longer available on that site. I kind of figured that this carburetor was gonna be like a unicorn horn or whatever, you know. So I ended up, I went on eBay with the part number, and sure enough, there was some sellers selling OEM ones, and I'll tell you, they were proud of these things. You're talking $100 plus shipping and everything. There was some used ones for $60 plus shipping, untested, unguaranteed and everything, which I would never, you know, unless it was some seller that I'd actually dealt with before, you know. So that was out of the question. But what I noticed was, even on eBay, there was a bunch of aftermarket ones. Now, I was just assuming that you know, this carburetor is just history, you know. So there was some aftermarket carburetors. So I'm like, well, let me check it real quick. I went on hypastore.com, and bingo, there it was. So they got a pretty much an all-in-one kit, kind of like the trimmers and everything. So you're gonna get a brand new base gasket, air filter with the foam sheathing for it, brand new carburetor, and it also came with a fuel filter and a brand new chunk of fuel line, which is already on the mower. Guess what? This whole kit here, 20 bucks. I could not believe it. I was like ecstatic. So I had mentioned to my Hipa rep, told him with the video I was doing and everything. I said, would you be interested in doing a thing? He goes, yeah. I'll send you one. So here we are. So, and one thing I was very happy with, even with a deal like that, this thing shipped in under a week. It was at my door. So you really can't beat that. I got to give props to Hipa for that. The shipping is excellent. Even on the, when you go on hypastore.com, there's free shipping on all items and everything. Ultra quick shipping and everything. But so I'm very happy with this deal. But anyway, give me a minute here. We're going to get set up. We're going to put this carburetor on this mower and hear it fire up. And hopefully it'll be a good one. So I'll be right back. All right, so let's go ahead and get this carb back on this thing. Oh. So first off, what you want to do, you're going to go ahead and hook up your throttle. Yeah, like so. It's got the little bushing that fits in there. I think it goes, yeah, it goes over that. It's like so. Then you got your gasket. Gonna put that in between. I did clean up these bolts a little bit. Hopefully they'll go in a little bit easier. They, the socket for these bolts is 7mm, by the way. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we'll get that one threaded in a little bit. Go ahead and swing your gasket up. What are we hitting here? like so. Alright, there's that. Alright, go ahead and zap that in there. Again, I should have used a flathead on this, but I wasn't thinking. Go ahead like so, get it zapped on there. And it shouldn't take too awful long. I'm going to do them kind of evenly, just space them a little bit. There we go. On these, you got a brand new carburetor and your intake's all cleaned. I usually don't put any type of sealer on these gaskets. I really don't see any use for it. So I'm just gonna snug these up just a tad. And there we go. All right. So, got our there we go. All right, throttle is working as such. You're gonna go ahead and loop your choke cable into the choke itself. Like so. Leave that like that for now. I'm gonna go ahead and show you this little gasket here for your that goes in between the breather body and the plate. You also got to hook up your little breather tube back here that goes into this. Go ahead and get that on like so. Plug that in. There we go. All right. On this side here, here's that bracket that I showed you. That's for your choke cable. Gonna have that on there like so. Go ahead and put your little nut on there. We're gonna get this thing cinched down, and then we'll go ahead and get the choke cable sorted out in a second here. Alright, there's that. Everything's right where it belongs. So we'll go ahead and give those a little bit of a tad bit of a tightening here. Just want to snug them up. So, your choke on this thing. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put that on there. Now, your choke on this thing, pulling back all the way is going to be choke. So, what you want to do, you're going to go ahead and take your choke lever, pull it up to choke, and then go ahead and like so. And that should be about where we want to be. Alright, yeah, like so. And then you're just going to go ahead and tighten your little Phillips screw down here. There we go. And we'll make sure we got full choke action. Yes, we do. All right, there's that. And we'll go ahead and put our fuel line on. There we go. There's that. Go ahead and put the little clamp on there. That way while we're putting the rest of it together, we can let the float bowl fill up. Alright, we'll go ahead and turn the gas on, like so. So now we're gonna have fuel going into the carburetor. Oh, wow. Go ahead and put the air filter on, like so. Fits right on there like the OEM would. Go ahead and throw your two. Yeah, they want to make sure this one don't fall off. They got two bolts holding that filter itself on, and then there's another two that hold the cover onto it. That. Yeah, we're almost there. Cinch her off with that. You don't have to go crazy on these things. Just kind of snug it up a little bit. Not a biggie. Alright, is that. Then we'll go ahead and throw our cover on. Goes on like so. Alright. Then, last but not least, we have our little bolts, whatever you want to call these things, hold downs for that. And there is one complete installed carburetor. Well, this one wants to go on crooked. Come on. There you go. Alright, so hopefully we got some I gotta put some gas in this thing. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna put some gas in this thing and then we'll be back and we're gonna fire it. Alright, so we got Hipa carburetor versus a 26-year-old mower. Let's see what goes on here. I'm gonna go ahead and choke it. We got it in neutral. Let's see what choke's gonna do. Oh, that's a good sign. We can't run this thing in here too long. Little bit of a surge, but this mower has been sitting for a very long time too. We could have some old gas mixed in with the new stuff and everything. I am not going to, I'm not going to discount anything. tell you right now that carburetor runs better than any carb I've ever heard on this thing. Well, the only one I've ever heard was the original, which didn't run at all. So, but I think we're on the right path here. So I will, I'm going to drain the gas out of this thing and flush it a little bit more and everything. I think that's part of our issue and everything. And I will be back with this machine. There's still more work to be done on this thing, but for right now, I'm calling that a win. I mean, that thing was running without a choke. I mean, that works for me. So we will be back on this one, and and hopefully Mother Nature is going to actually treat us right, and we can actually get back to some other stuff too. But anyway, special thank you to Hipa for the making of this video, and I thank you all for watching this, and we will be back soon. I promise you, as soon as this weather, stops rearing its ugly head and everything, and we'll go from there with it. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.